If it's Wednesday, it's Hump Day Hangover. Greetings everyone, I'm Bart, the Success Educator, and today's topic is minimize your need for instant gratification. So grab yourself a cup of coffee or join me with a cocktail and let's get started. This is Hump Day Hangover. Now take a moment and think about this. The legendary Babe Ruth said, "It is hard to be a person who never gives up." And Babe Ruth never gave up. Babe Ruth had one of the most prolific careers in Major League Baseball. For many years he was the home run king with 714 career home runs. But in order to get those 714 home runs, he had to go to bat 8,399 times, of which 1,330 times he struck out. Now, he did not seek instant gratification. Instead, he delayed that gratification for the success of a home run. And Babe Ruth once said, "Every strike brings me closer to a home run." Now, today's lesson, as with all, comes from my best-selling book, My Moment to Succeed. Go out to my website, successeducator.com. You'll find a link there out to Amazon where you can purchase the book. I'll personalize it and sign it for you. But let's get back to our topic of minimizing the need for instant gratification. Now, instant gratification, believe it or not, is a habit. It's a habit of where you forego short-term hardships to gain short-term pleasure. When things get tough, so many times we look for some way to give ourselves some little excitement, give ourselves a praise. Those are wins, and you need to count those wins, but don't make those wins become the priority in what you're looking to achieve. Because you see, instant gratification does lead to long-term pain, it leads to procrastination, and more importantly, it leads to self-sabotage. Now, delayed gratification is where you forego short-term pleasure to gain significant long-term results and hence massive rewards in the future. To do this, you ignore the temptations that may distract you. And this is cited as one of the most regarded personality traits of successful people, and that is that you do see the value in delaying gratification. Because when you delay gratification, here's what happens. You find yourself much more successful in your career, much more successful with your personal relationships. Money starts to come to you in abundance from numerous sources on a continuous basis. You enjoy better health. You discover a holistic feeling of an abundant life. And you are in alignment with your core beliefs. We've talked about that several times. Now, when you start minimizing instant gratification, you may experience some short-term pain and stress. But know that discomfort is temporary. Soon, gratification becomes satisfaction. So, start and create a habit of delayed gratification. When you do, this will strengthen your mind and begin to shape your character. Now remember, your character is your brand. We talk about this on every episode. What comes to mind when someone mentions your name, that is your brand. That is your character. That is what people remember the most about you. And so when you delay that gratification, the result is increased willpower, increased self-discipline, patience, and guess what? These are all attributes that are found in successful entrepreneurs. So ask yourself these questions. What do I want to achieve? How do I plan to achieve this? What do I want and deserve, and why do I want and deserve this? And what are the benefits of going for and attaining this goal? And why is it important to work toward the vision you have. Delaying gratification can prove challenging and may even at times seem scary. We've talked about fears, and much like facing your fears, delaying gratification postpones short-term confirmations that you're on the right journey. By definition, delayed gratification centers on making choices which limits results now for bigger and better result later. So where do you find that gratification? Where do you find that confirmation you're on the right journey? It starts with a belief in yourself. Now, this does not mean you don't get confirmations throughout your process. You do. Instead, confirmations become validations that you're creating the success you envision. You start to see things happening and happening for a reason. Now, while learning to delay gratification, surround yourself with supportive people and a supportive environment. And in order to do this, it may and most likely is going to require unplugging from the media, including social media and advertising. Because you see, when you hear that you can lose 20 pounds in 10 days or make $10,000 in 30 days, you can become easily discouraged. What you need to realize that different people yield different results. And always look for the disclaimer of that advertiser. Now, this past week I had an amazing opportunity to work with a small business showcase here in St. Louis. And after one day, I was talking with the person who put it in charge, and Kevin and I were talking. He's just an amazing person who's becoming one of my mentors and one of my top 5. And we were talking about some things didn't happen the way we thought they may happen, and we're kind of reevaluating it. And I told him, I said, you know what, Kevin, here's my take on it. Shit happens. And when shit happens, you have 2 choices. Number 1, you can stir it and make it stink. Or number 2, you can harvest it and use it as fertilizer, which will make things grow. Stirring it is instant gratification. Ha ha, I got him. But when you harvest it and you plant it, that's called organic growth. And it's organically turning into something very powerful. So in order to really delay gratification, here's some things you must do every day. First of all, start your day with affirmations. Every day, meditate. Morning, night, whenever throughout the day, meditate. Use those breathing techniques. Read something inspirational every day. And listen to something motivating. Be it a podcast, be it something on YouTube, some of the real quick stories of Britain's Got Talent contestants or America's Got Talent contestants, The Voice and their backstories. Those are powerful. Powerful stories of young athletes. Find those. Spend 3 to 5 minutes and put that into your system. And also, it's important to have an accountability partner. Just like Kevin and I were talking. That's accountability. Your accountability partner must be someone who asks questions and holds you accountable. They cannot be a yes man. You must articulate to them what you want to achieve and the steps you're prepared to take to achieve it. And then they must hold you accountable. An accountability partner is also instrumental in helping you brainstorm if you course correct or when you need to course correct. And they inherently, because they are the accountability partner, they inherently have ownership in what you do. And I guess one of the most important lessons and things to learn to do is to detach from the outcome. I had a very powerful person one time told me that some will, some won't. So what? Someone's waiting. Detach from that outcome. The next no is one no closer to the next yes. That next strikeout was one strikeout closer to Babe Ruth hitting a home run. What you do when you detach from the outcome, you begin to find joy in the journey. Now, detaching can be difficult, and that's where that accountability partner really comes in and helps you detach. If you can control the outcome, then you have complete ownership. That's different. It's when you cannot, you have to let it go. And finally, when learning to delay gratification, take a pause. Visualize, if you would, a crossing light or a caution light if you're driving, hanging throughout your journey. And that crossing light tells you how many seconds you have left in which to cross the road. And if you know you can't make it, you must pause and wait. The same thing is true as in life. Pause and assess where you are and take that opportunity to look to where you're headed. And always remember that the impulse for instant gratification is in your head. Delayed gratification is a learned behavior. It's a habit worth forming. My hoodie reads, always live in your spotlight. And when you always live in your spotlight, you never need instant gratification because you are in alignment with your core beliefs. So today's journaling activities, let's take a look at that. 3 things to ask yourself. First, how important is acceptance and instant gratification to you? Secondly, what do you want to achieve and how do you plan to achieve it? And finally, what steps can you take to develop the habit of delayed gratification? Now, this week's Bartism comes from Brian Tracy, and Brian teaches us that the ability to discipline yourself to delay gratification in the short term in order to enjoy greater rewards in the long term is the indispensable prerequisite for success. Don't forget that gratitude journal. List 3 to 5 things you're grateful for today. And remember that delayed gratification is the key. So thank you for spending a few moments with me. Hit that subscribe button below. Click on that bell to get those notifications. Go out to my website, successeducator.com. Out across the top, you'll see the links to my social media. Follow me there. And of course, visit the Success Store. As I mentioned earlier, what comes to mind when someone mentions your name? That is your brand. So until next Wednesday, this has been Hump Day Hangover. Ciao.